on this computer. Right. So we brought this table in and we talked about the different data quality issues that's there. On the first day, then next day we loaded these into Power BI with a view to start, do a bit of analysis on this very small data set and see how it works. But I don't believe we finished, dealing with all the problem that there are. So because I can see the city is null for Tom White. So we need to know. I would have just said, let's click on the null and replace it with whatever city we choose, But the implication of doing it like that is that every time we have somebody's city not filled, it would be replaced with whatever we fill for Tom. So let's say we say replace null with well, let me choose Luton. Okay, so if we decide to do that, because Tom comes from Luton, okay, the meaning of doing that is that anytime someone else city is not filled, it would automatically fill the null with Luton. So whether they come from Luton or not, what you have told this column to do is anytime you find null, just change the null to Luton. So that would not be a right solution to use in this case. Some other cases it might be okay to do that, but in this case we won't. Okay, we did add a conditional column. When we were gonna, let me see what we did here. Yes, we wanted to change email from Michael Lee at email.com. Email. Okay, we wanted to fill the number for Michael Lee. So here, what it was null, I believe. Okay, so again, let me cancel that. It was this null value here for Michael Lee. Again, we could have just right-clicked or, decide to replace null with list number. But like what would have happened here, what that would mean is that we would say every time you find a null value for whoever, just replace it with Michael Lee's number, and that would be wrong. And because of that, we conditioned our solution and we said, let's use conditional column, okay, which we got from the add column. So add column and then conditional column, and if I go into that formula, we say that add a conditional column that is computed from other columns or values. Okay, so it has this box here, new column, name. If you know the name you want to give it, you can just type it there right away. Okay, but for now, I think we left that alone. But our real focus is this statement where we are saying that if then you choose the column, name. In this case, the column we're choosing is email, because that email is very unique. We could have just said if customer name is Michael Lee, but again, another Michael Lee may come, who would be someone else. You see how we are thinking, ahead of whatever the solution that we use now. How does it stand the test of time and the test of different contexts, So, but we decided that email is very unique to this particular Michael Lee. Okay, so let's say that if email equals this, then this is put the outcome or the output to be this number. But if not, bring the phone number column. okay? Because if you click down here, you list all the columns here as well. So we said bring the phone, okay? And we clicked okay for that. And you see, for that phone number, did I change something up? Okay, we created a new column. So this is the new column that we added. Well, we've reordered it to. So this is the new column that was. So invariably what we've done is that we now have two columns of phone numbers. You know, the one we just created using the additional column and the one that was already there. And we can see the difference. The correction has been made in our new one, which for now is called custom column. And correction is not made in our old one. So the next step is we change the type, data type there to number. And then there's no need to have two phone columns. We don't need these anymore because we've created one that is more full, more correct. So we removed this in this step, okay, and gave it the proper name of phone number. So that's what we did with that, okay? Now, we are going to do the same with city, okay? And we are going to say again that if we won't say name is Tom White, again, for the same reason, we could have 10 Tom Whites in the coming time, you know, in the coming years, months, days, okay? So, but if we decide to use email, which is very unique to this particular Tom White, that if the email is this, then let's the city that they come from be Luton. Okay, that's what we're going to do. You know, I was thinking of something when we were doing this, that could I not insert this new? No, I can't. I wanted to do a quick Ojoro shortcut, you know, and put that here, like add a new if statement, that if email equals, equals Tom White or Tom.White does whatever, then put Luton, you know, but this particular, it won't work like that because this is for a column, the return result is you can't pick, I can't pick phone and then pick city at the same time here. So I'm going to have to let me cancel that. I'm going to have to create another a conditional column for city, now, which is all right because the more we repeat the same thing, the more we get used to how it is done. So while I click on city, I'm going to, before I do that, let me pick so that I don't have to type all of these out. I'm going to copy these and then go into city, then conditional column again. And we are going to say that if the column name is email, if email equals what I copied, which is that, then bring Luton for this, bring Luton. If there are more people more people to correct the city for, you just keep adding, and adding and adding and adding and adding and adding as many times as you need. But we don't need that. We only have one for this particular solution. So so if email is that, bring Luton. But if not, then we have this. You either enter a value or you select a column. In this case, I'm going to select a column, and the column I'm going to select is the city. That is, if the email is equal to tom.white@email.com, give it Luton. Else, just bring whatever you find on that city column. That's what this means. So we say okay to that. And here we go. We now have Luton, no more null value on here. Okay, I can decide to change that to text here. Okay, and I'm going to drag this just so we see what's happening side by side for city. I'll drag it beside city, and you can just validate that your answer is right. We have Luton now, on our more correct column, and it's for Tom White, where you have null. Okay, it's so easy to find because we are working with just 12 rows of data, and this is intentional. When we see what's happening with small data, it's still the same principle we'll use to work with bigger data. It's just that we're going to be more careful, okay? You will need to do a lot more checks just to be sure that you've caught up or you've captured all the mistakes that you are correcting, okay? So I'm going to need this city. We need to delete this. There's no point having two city columns that are one will be useless. So I'll remove this, and this now becomes our city. Okay, so city is now fine. Other ID is fine. Other date is fine. Laptop, I'm sorry, product. We don't have any problem with product. Quantity, nothing is missing. We did change the negative value that we have in quantity. And for price, we have a price that is null. We have a price that is null, and it's for the keyboard, okay? So, and we can see, let's have a look, because the price we are given here, we're not even sure, I'm not sure if these are unit prices or not. Again, if we had access to the business, we just go and ask them the price. It doesn't state if it's unit price or if you've taken quantity into account when you computed this price. Okay, but let's study the product quantity and the price columns together. So if I just filter on laptop, for example, all of the one laptops here, all of the laptop we have here, quantity just one, and each 900. That's I think it's safe to say that a laptop is sold for $900 or pounds, as the case may be. Okay, let's look at keyboard as well. Okay, okay, so we have our answer here. Keyboard, the previous keyboards that we have, each one quantity, they sell for 45 pounds, so we know what to change that to. All right. So just for the sake of just checking, monitors here. Okay, I find this, you see, one of the problems that you are acting like a data detective when you do this part, this side of things, okay? This side of data. Okay, so monitor, two quantities sold for 200 here, two sold for 200 here. Why are we selling one for 200 here? Okay, that is something you need to capture and ask questions around. Unfortunately, we don't have brand and a few more information here to tell us why there's a difference between those lines. Okay, so that's one to capture and query. Okay, that's two quantities of monitor for 200 and one for 200. Is it because brand differ or what happened there? I mean, we can't just change it without reason, without getting the actual answer, from the, so if this was an interview question, and it can be an interview question, and they are saying that they need you to do a data quality work on this and then bring it to come and explain at interview, this, it's so easy to miss out this, but it would really, maybe the interviewer would be looking at, okay, whatever you say in the 10 minutes, if you overlooked or didn't capture this part, then that's a fail. Whoever captures this part, that's who they are going to give the job to. We never know. Okay. So, but had it not been for the null value that we are trying to fill for the price, we could have easily overlooked what's happening with monitor prices there. Okay. And mouse, again, the same thing is happening with mouse. 3 quantities of mouse selling for 15, 2 also selling for 15. So those are not consistent pricing. That's not right. And that's something you want to flag, as somebody that is as a data steward, somebody who is a gatekeeper, of the organization's data. Okay, so a lot happened, within the pricing and the quantity and the products columns there for us to have a think about. But more than anything, we are going to need to change this null. And just like we have done with the other nulls that we found, we can't just go on to replace this null with the value that we found for keyboard, which is 45 pounds. We can't just do that, because for the same reason, anytime the prices here change to null, it will just automatically give it 45, which is not right. It could be any other value. Okay, so we have to condition this solution to work just for keyboard. Okay, so the same thing. So we've done additional column. This would be the 3rd time now. And I love the repetition. There's repetition helps to reinforce learning. Okay, so we're going to say that where the product is keyboard, okay, bring 45, else bring the rest of the prices here. All right. So conditional column and its product. So we choose product is keyboard. Now, when you type here, you have to type exactly as it is within the data. This part is case sensitive, word sensitive, if there is a space. That's why I love to go back and just copy exactly as they have it there, so that I don't have to, so that it works perfectly. But I think we are fine. Me typing it in keyboard, that looks okay. Okay, so, but if not, then we need to select a column. We tell it to bring back the price. Okay, so that is if the product is keyboard, bring 45, else just bring the rest of the prices that are there. Okay, so, and there we have it. So our null value for keyboard on there is now being filled up. We don't have null anymore. I'm going to copy that because I'm going to need to delete it. We don't need to have 2 price columns anymore. This is more correct, more complete, data completeness, more complete. And we need to change that to, I'll just go for currency. And there we have it. Okay, don't forget that we didn't correct the price anomalies that we found. We didn't correct them. But in real life scenario, you would use the company's data to correct. You won't just assume that it was a mistake. Okay. Normally, if this were to be a complete data set for the product, you will have the brand. So you can easily see that, oh, there are different brands. And for this brand, the price is higher than, for this one. That's why. So there would be an explanation to why that happened. If you can't find it within the data, you must find it within the right department so that they can capture it. If it's a mistake on their own part, they can correct it from the source. Okay. And I want to believe that we've finished correcting all the data quality issues, apart from the prices that we're not going to touch those. We leave those, but we know in theory what we are supposed to do with them. Okay. up to this point, do we have any questions with the data quality issues that we have sorted so far in this data set? Do we have any questions at all? Okay.
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Sorry, 1 minute. Please, can you please go back how you added another column?
Okay.
I think I just missed that.
Okay. So it's this one here. So we got it from add column. This top bit here. Okay. So click on, for any solution that's going to involve you adding a new column on, you will need to pick it from add column. From what the name implies, it says add column. You're adding an extra column to your data. So under add column, we have different, let's even, discuss them a little. We have different buttons there. Let me hide this so that I can see. Okay, we have a few buttons, okay? So add column adds an extra column to your work, okay? The one we have used so far is the conditional column, okay? So you say add column, click on conditional column. It's asking me if I'm trying to insert a step. Okay, insert it, we can always delete it later. So add column, conditional column, because what I'm about to condition is put a conditional statement here that if this is the case, then do this. If not, do something else. That's a condition. I'm giving it a condition. That's why it's called a conditional column. Okay, and it opens this box up. Then you can go on and fill it according to the solution you need. So if it says column name, so you go into the drop down and choose the column name that you desire to use. We have been using email more because it's very unique to the solution. But when we wanted to do price, we needed product. We chose product, okay? And we say if the product equals keyboard, and I said, when you are typing in here, it is case sensitive. All right, it is case sensitive. You have to type exactly what you have in your data. Okay, so keyboard, if the product equals to keyboard, then tell it what you want it to do. I wanted it to bring 45. To just put 45 for everywhere there's keyboard, because when we looked into the data, we saw that the price for keyboard is 45. Okay. If there are more products that you want to work on, you add more, you keep adding. Okay. And if you want to delete, you don't want it anymore, you can delete. Okay. Okay. Now you've done that, then you come here. This one says else. That is if the condition is not meeting up with all of this, this is what I want you to do. So if the product is keyboard, bring 45. For others that are not keyboard, then I give it what I want it to do here. That's the meaning of else. Okay. If we look into the information, the I here, it says when none of the rules are met, specify an output value or reference another column to put. So when the condition here is not met, what do you want it to do? Do you want to type that it should do something? You can type in it. Or do you want it to tell it to bring another column? In this case, we wanted it to bring the column price because it is price that we are trying to correct. Okay. And that's how that was done. That step was done. I'm going to cancel that because we've done it already. We don't need this step. So that's how we got that add column, added on column into our work. Okay. There are a few other add columns that we can look at very quickly. We've got a minute. Let's quickly look at a few functions. Let's say that you need the first where you have customer name. Let's say that you need only their first names. Okay. You in another column. Okay. From this column, I want to create just the first name. and I still want to retain this column, which means my solution would add an extra column to this for first name. I'm going to need to do it from add column. But if I want to change this column itself to first name, I don't want an added column onto this data set, then I'm going to need to do that from transform data. Okay, so most of the functions you will find in add column, you would also find them in transform. But the difference between those two is that transform retains, it retains the same data, the same column you are working on, while add column would add an extra column for the answer. Okay, let's quickly see what that means. Okay, for add column now, let's use add column. I need first name from here. Okay, so there are many ways I can do this. Under add column, I can decide to use column from example. Okay, column from example is let's see how it works. So I click on column from examples. It says, is it going to work from all of the columns or from my selection? I've selected customer name. So from selection, I don't want it to go through all of the columns. So then I start, so it creates this something like a vague thing that you can start typing on. It's like you are training it to see what you want it to do. Okay, so I go on to type John. You know, the first one there is John, and it's bringing me this option of John Smith because it's not very sure. It's thinking, do I want to write all of the John Smith? Okay, but no, I'm not going to pick John Smith. So I pick only John. Immediately I clicked out, it can see that I'm picking just their first names. Okay, see that it just quickly did John, Sarah, Michael, Emily, Sarah, David, Aisha. You know, all you just need to do is to go through to be sure that the names are spelled correctly. Sometimes when the data is really massive, you will find a few things to correct. And sometimes it doesn't quickly get it. But this, like I said, this is a small data set. Okay, so it has seen that I just typed just the first name from here. And it's from its being IntelliSense, I think they call it. It can pick and sense that this is what I'm trying to do. And because that's what I'm trying to do, I'll click OK. Okay. And there you have it. I have my first name column there. Okay, you see, that was done under add column. There's a few other ways I could have done that, but I just wanted to show two things. Add column adds an extra column, and then under add column from examples. That's one of the very fast, functions that you can use to quickly achieve, works like this. Okay, but if I were to do that under transform, I'm going to be telling it to transform this particular column. It's not going to, under transform, it's not going to, your solution is not going to add an extra column for you. So it depends on what you want now. Okay. Now, I don't have exactly a column from example, the way we achieved this. I don't have that where we achieved the one we just did now, this one. I don't have it under transform. But under transform, if I was to achieve that, I would just look through my data and see how best can I just get only the first part of the first part, of this customer name, because it's only the first name their first name that I need. But I can see that for each one of them, there's a space that is separating them. Okay. So under transform, I'm just going to look for extract. Extract is one. Okay. Under extracts, there's length. Okay. Maybe had it been that they all have the same length, all the first names have the same length, that would have been a good one to use, because I just click, it's just even giving me the length. Okay. I thought I would just count the lengths that I wanted to extract, but no, that's not what I want. But at least we can see that extract gives you, under length gives you the length. Yeah, this is the one that I was talking about, actually, the first characters. Okay. If I wanted to, extract exactly the first, maybe first 3 or first 4 or first 5, okay, characters from that, it would just, it worked for John. It didn't work for Sarah because we are missing an H, and it didn't work for most of the other ones because, again, that's not the right solution for me to have used, okay? But if we keep exploring extracts, the best one in this case to use is not last characters, it's not range, it is text before delimiter. That space that is in between first name and last name is a good tool because that is consistent with each one of them. Okay, so that is a good tool for me to use. So if I say text before delimiter, and what's my delimiter? I say enter the delimiter that marks the end of what you would like to extract. My delimiter is a space, so I'm just going to go one space. And if we open advanced, scan for the delimiter. Am I starting from the start of the input? Sometimes you may need it from the end. I need it from the start, so we keep that. Sometimes you might need to skip certain delimiters away. It depends on, again, what you have in your data set. Okay, so I think this is enough for me, and I click OK, and you see it's retained all the characters before that space being the delimiter. Okay, now under transform, I'm able to achieve the first name without adding an extra column to my work. So if there's anything you are picking between transform and add column, you have a lot of the functions that are the same. Some are different, but a lot are the same under those two. The only difference is when you use it under add column, you are adding an extra column to your work. When you use it under transform, you are changing your part, one of the columns that is within your data set. Okay, so I'm going to take away that step because we need a customer name. We can retain first name only just for retaining purpose. Okay, now we've worked a lot with this data set and we've understood exactly what it is that it is about. It is a data set of orders that's taken, from an IT sales company. Okay, and we can see the customer information there and how much in terms of quantity and prices that they have bought. Okay, so we have customers. Those are dimensions. I'm not going to go too deeply into what dimension is. But if you remember the keywords, I don't have my slide open. One of the keywords when we talk about, we're now going gradually into data modeling. Okay, we've finished. I wish I had my slide open. It's always nice to go back to it and show us that part of the theoretical aspect of things. Okay, so we can now decide which part of this data set is our dimension and which is, all right, which is dimension and which is fact. Okay, normally within your data set, your facts are the measurables, what you can measure. For example, quantity of products bought, total number of products that we sell, prices, those are not total number of customers that we have in terms of counting them. Those are the measures, the metrics, the measures, the KPIs that we can bring out. from this data set. But for dimension is, those are the what's, the what about this business. What are we selling? Who are we selling it to? Where are we selling it? You know, from where are we getting it? So the columns that answer questions like that, those are your dimensions, okay? How much did we make? How much did we buy it for? How many did we sell? Any of these columns that answer questions like that, those are your facts, okay? I'm not going to go into the rigors of creating, you know, the actual data model just yet, okay? But before within 1 minute or so that we can go quickly tonight, I'm going to close and apply this. So when you are done in the Power Query, you just go into Home, this tiny button here, click on the drop down, and you have 3 options: close and apply, apply and close. Close and apply means close this and apply the changes that we have made into our Power BI. Remember that we have 2 pages of Power BI open. The part that is called Power Query, where we have been doing our cleaning, and the part that we landed on the first time we opened this, the actual Power BI desktop itself. Okay, so let's close that Power Query and tell it to bring all our changes, tables, everything into Power BI desktop. So close and apply, apply, close. Most of the time you'll find yourself using close and apply. Close this and apply it into the main Power BI desktop, okay? So, and it brings our table into here, okay? Yeah, it's loading it. Okay, and now that it's loaded, we can see the table on the right-hand side, others table, with all the columns, you know, that we have. When you come onto here very quickly, there used to be 3, but now I think we have like what, 4 or 5 of these tiny icons by the left. The report view, that's where we are. The report view is where we are, where you will be doing all your great works on the Canva. This is it. Then we have the table view, where you can view your table just like it is actually a table. You can easily come in here, you know, and make amends. Not really make amends like that, but you can see what you actually have and what you brought in table format. Then had it been that we created different dimensions from this, like I would normally do, we would be able to create relationships here. You can see this is called the model view, where we create different relationships. At the moment, we are using what we call single entity data. Single table data is just one table that we have brought in. So there is no relationship you want to be creating with just one table. Okay, and it's because I want to keep it simple, and let's quickly see what this small data can give us. Let's just say that very quickly, you want to look at in a simple way or simple format. You want to look at from picking one visual here, stacked bar chart. You want to see price. I click on price as per products, you know, how much each of the products brought in price-wise. And you can easily see that. Of course, we saw that the laptop costs the most. I want to enlarge it. You can easily see that laptop costs the most. This is a kind of comparison analysis that you're doing here. You're comparing how much did we make from laptop, from monitor, keyboard, and the rest, okay? And we can easily see laptop, you know, without you explaining this chart to anyone, they can see that laptop has got the longest bar, or the longest bar there. It's brought in the most money, okay? That is in terms of price. But if you want to look at this in terms of quantity of products, if you know, if they actually tally which one brought in, I'm clicking out so that I can pick another visual, okay? I want to look at quantity in terms of products still. Okay. Although laptop brought us the most money in terms of price, we actually sold more quantities of mouse. Okay, you can see that we sold more than six of mouse, followed by monitor. In fact, laptop that brought the most money, we sold the least to get the most. Okay, now if we were able to look at profits, you know, alongside all of this, that, okay, in all of this, which one actually gave us the most profit? Then we can easily see that, okay, maybe we should be selling more of the mouse. So because mouse is going quicker, we are selling more and we are getting more from it. Maybe laptop, we sold just three laptop, although the price it brought in is much, but how much of that price is our profit? Okay, is it that we sold three and we are getting only what, 50 pound on each, 150 for three laptops, whereas after we have sold like seven mouse, we've made like 500 pound. So this is where you start to analyze what's happening within your business and what you should be concentrating more of your energy on in terms of how much you are getting as a business. Okay, I just thought to quickly show us that our time is fast spent. um, and I was really looking forward to seeing what this data looks like because it's so small and so cute. You don't always get them like this. But yeah, I'm going to take any question that we have. Ah, Dami, I hope you were able to see the screen in the end.
Yeah, I jumped out and came in again. So somebody replied to me. So thank you.
Okay, good.
I know you were busy,
I
so
wasn't